Hello and welcome to Triathlonology, a triathlon podcast by Animis Racing team. I'm Oliver.
And I'm Jacqui. We are a mum and son coaching team who have changed our lives through the sport of triathlon.
Our podcast aims to break down the mysteries of triathlon training and show you, the listener, how simple and flexible it can be so that it really does become part of your lifestyle and not just a hobby.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Triathlonology.
I'm Jacqui Saxon.
And I'm Oliver Saxon, and together we're a mum and son coaching team based in South Yorkshire and North Lincolnshire in the UK.
So we wanted to talk to you today because we haven't done a podcast since we were in Portugal. And it's ironic today, it's absolutely hammering it down again. Whereas when we were in Portugal, it was bright sunshine and we had to keep having to move his camera around so you could actually see us because of all the sunshine. So that seems to me
a long time
ago. Long time ago.
But really, it's only 2 months ago.
Yeah. But such a lot has happened to us in the with our businesses, and this is how I think one of the things why people like being coached by us is because we can totally relate to their lives, because ours have just gone mad. I mean, Oliver was really busy whilst we were in Portugal, but we've both been so busy with our businesses since we came back. It's been really impossible to get sat down together to be able to record a podcast. So we thought, well, why don't we talk about that, in that people feel so guilty when they can't do the training, and as coaches we do training just the same because we like doing events, but these last few months has been nigh on impossible. What do you think, Oliver?
Well, yeah, I've really struggled because it's just like work's just all consuming, how it has been at the minute, because I'm trying to bring people into the business as business partners, which necessitates having meetings with them and then meetings again and trying to get stuff done and over the line, and you're trying to focus on, okay, well, what do we, not only like what happens once they're in, but what we're going to do with that money, because that's going to drive the next stage of growth for the business, and you can't help but sort of like plot out what happens to that a little bit, and it never works to the time frame that you want it to work to, which is unfortunate, but everybody else is busy, so you have to sort of just keep plodding on with it a little bit, and then at the same time my other business has just become very difficult to manage, and now it's only me really who's doing it on my own, which is challenging, and trying to find a replacement for my business partner is difficult. Somebody who could do the work that he was going to do was difficult, and it all just sort of, and then we did the triathlon in amongst all that we had to organise and put it on and get everything going for that. And then, so it just sort of all adds up, and I get home most evenings a bit late, or even if I get home at like 7 o'clock, I'm just completely knackered. Like mentally, as soon as I get through the door and I've driven home, that's me finished. I'll be in bed. So I love tournament football with an absolute passion. If you're watching any clips of this video, you'll see I'm wearing a Portugal shirt today. Because Portugal are playing in the round of 16 against, I can't even remember who they're playing, which is not like me at all, but they're playing today, and so I thought I'd wear my Portugal shirt to work because I wear all football shirts during a tournament. And for the first 2 weeks of the tournament, when there's been like 3 matches in a day, I've been watching the 2 o'clock match and the 5 o'clock match, and I've got the first half done of the while I've been working, I've been watching the football between 2 and the 5 o'clock kickoff, and then I've watched the first half quite often of the 8 o'clock kickoff, and then thought, I'll go and watch the second half in bed. Literally every time asleep by the time they even come out for second half. That just completely zonked out, and then in the morning not getting up and being rested at all, and just been, even though I've been asleep for 8-9 hours sometimes, it's not even restful or recoverable sleep. I still feel as tired in the morning, and my brain's going at 100 mile an hour again straight away as soon as I've woken up, and I'm trying to do the next thing, and then more challenges appear, that you don't necessarily expect that you've then got to react to.
I think it's the thing though, isn't it? I know we both wear Garmin watches and sleep with them on, so you can. I know we're not really a massive fan of technology, but I think where this comes into its own is it measures your sleep, because sleep is so important for every aspect of your
life,
of your life. Full stop. I mean, this is an anecdote thing, but I can always remember when I had Oliver and he was a tiny baby. My mum saying to me, "If you can get to sleep, if you can have a sleep, then rest of the day won't seem anywhere near as bad." And I used to think, she's crackers. But anyway, truth is, it's actually true. If you don't get enough rest, and it's not all right going to bed and saying like you're going to be in bed for like 8 hours. I'm exactly the same as Oliver, that I go to bed and I'm zonked. But when I get up and I think, have I actually been to sleep? Because I feel so tired. And when you look at your watch and your HRV and your rest sleep score, it's absolute pants. And you think
it backs up how you feel.
Yeah, it does.
You don't feel like you've had any rest and you've not recovered at all. And I know what restful sleep feels like, because normally I do have really restful and sleep and recover off the back of it. That's the one thing I am good at. Even whether I've had a busy day and trained, or whether I've just had an easier day and I've trained twice, like normally I can go to bed, go to sleep and feel fine in the morning. But for the last month or 6 weeks, it's just been completely like not there. I mean, that might have been combined with a couple of other things, like I really suffer from hay fever, and so at night it could be that's stopping me have restful enough sleep to be able to feel normal the next day, and not like I want to go to bed at 7 o'clock at night when I get home. But I don't know. So I'm having an experiment now, because I've started retaking my SAS sleep sleep supplements, so which is their Rest Plus and ZMA tablets, about half an hour before I go to sleep. And I've also put Albus oil on my pillow, so it stops my nose from becoming closed up at night. And the first night I've done that was last night, and I had like an 86 sleep score, which is massive improvement. I've not even got anywhere past 40 for more than a month. Now, it still says I'm not exactly ready to train, because it says my HRV score is very low, which is probably caused by fatigue or stress. I think more probably a bit of both, to be perfectly honest. But I've been swimming today because I want to get back on with doing stuff, because actually I think probably doing training will help with mental health and make me feel less stressed, and I'll feel a bit better about myself.
But I think what we're trying to get at here is that
everybody
gets overwhelmed. And it don't matter whether you're an elite athlete or age groupers like us, you get overwhelmed, and the age groupers beat themselves up a lot more than pros ever would. So what we're trying to say is,
I mean, because I've definitely got overwhelmed at the minute with everything that's going on. I just can't cope with more stuff than that just gets chucked to my plate, which has meant largely I've just completely neglected training. I've neglected myself more than anything else, because all I can do is the tasks that are work based, running about doing that, and everything else is just too much. Everything is challenging, but all you can really do is sort of like keep going and try and drag a bit of control back for yourself. Like if I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to go and do some training, because what's the point like hanging about till 7 o'clock and thinking, all right, I best get on now, I might as well just do half an hour on my treadmill or an hour 45 minutes on my Taylor Swift bike.
Oh yeah, because that's a new acquisition.
Yes, we called the Taylor Swift.
Yeah, are you going to talk about it or?
Yeah, so
let's just finish this bit.
Talk about
please don't worry if you're
everybody
feeling.
suffers from it. It's fine if you feel overwhelmed and you can think I can't cope with doing my training because I've just got so much going on in my own life or my work life. Then that's absolutely fine. You have to manage yourself, and we talk all the time about, particularly when we're on training holidays with athletes, we talk all the time about everybody having a cup that you can fill up so far. and then once you overfill that, it just all runs out. Well, mine is constantly like a waterfall at the minute, but that's okay because it'll not always be like that. And if it's happening to you, then that's also fine. We need to find a way with you as the athlete to try and reduce as much of that overflow as we can, so that even if you're just a millimetre from the brim of the cup, you're still within your own cup. And what's a millimetre in non-metric?
1/8 of an inch.
An 1/8 of an inch. So for any of our international listeners who don't know what a millimetre is, it's an 1/8 of an inch in old-fashioned money.
So hopefully that might have given you a bit more. If you are feeling like that, I think you're not on your own. It's like, I always think this is another old-fashioned thing. I can remember when when Oliver was a baby and I first went to mother and toddlers, and I thought I was the only person in the world who got child that cried, that child that didn't want to do this, and a baby that didn't want to do that. And you find out everybody is the same, only at different levels. And it's by having the support of people around you that helps you get through. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, send us a message. Let's see what we can do to help you.
Yeah, because there's probably something that we can put, even because when you're a triathlon coach, you're not really just a triathlon coach, you're also a life coach as well, really. So there's probably something that we've got in our bag of tricks or experience that where we've, well, even recently, with my stuff, where I think actually I can probably help you with this. So yeah, do drop us a message on Facebook or Instagram, or get in touch with the show from the show notes, and we'll be able to pick it up from there.
Don't feel on your own, because you're not.
No, it happens to everybody, and the people who pretend it's happening to them and run themselves into a hole, they're the people you need to worry about, because it takes ages to get out of that hole. Absolutely ages.
So we'll go on to more pleasant things.
Yes, we went to the cycling show, which is not necessarily a pleasant thing again, because it was even more grim than before. Like, there were fewer and fewer exhibitors there, weren't there? There was nobody of any kind of stature within the cycling world at all. All the bike manufacturers had given up, haven't they, more or less? Yeah,
absolute rubbish.
But we did find the team in Stoke who can do
can wrap your bike. Yeah.
So that's something that is going to be a little project for my TT bike, ready for when I'm ready to ride on that again next year, to have it all refreshed and look all fancy and a bit more me for next year. And then there weren't really very much else we saw, were there, really?
Because there were no, I thought, I quite fancy, I'd like a new saddle. No saddles to look at. No.
There were no big manufacturers there whatsoever. Nobody.
No, so you got no Trek, no Specialized, no shoes. No shoes.
No Bont.
No Giro.
Nothing.
No helmets. It was just rubbish. And tat.
And it's a declining event, unfortunately.
Which
that mirrors pretty much cycling in Britain.
Yeah,
which is a declining force, and people interested in bike markets, with bike manufacturers really struggling to sell bikes and having to discount them and not get as many new ones in, because people are just falling out of the market.
Which is sad, really, because when you think about pandemic, everybody were going on the bike. I think that's probably half of the trouble. That they had to produce. They went into overdrive to produce more bikes for a limited market, really.
Well, then people have given up after COVID, because now they can go back to doing other stuff that they wanted to do. But for me, I still find, and I know we've talked about this recently while we've been out riding as bikes, even in throwing down rain, which is something I would never have done before, how much we've enjoyed, and the joy of riding your bicycle outside.
It is a joy. It really is. And you just think, we're lucky in where we live, in that there's lots of countryside and what have you around us. We can just
nip out and not really see a car.
Yeah, and we're very lucky, we know that. But it's just lovely. It's just relaxing. I know we weren't going out particularly, we weren't training, we were just getting miles in as legs.
We weren't going out for a nice ride, more or less.
Yeah, although we did not have a coffee stop.
No. Well, it's just nice to have a little, to be outside on your bike, and all the endorphins and whatever that come from that, and enjoying that, all five senses really, because you're out, everything especially when you live in the country, you can taste the countryside most of the time. Sometimes literally, if you get a fly in your mouth, which is just extra protein for your recovery. But no, it's been really good, hasn't it? And so when we went to cycling show, we thought, well, because we've now been out on his bikes, we'll have a look for some stuff that we can make our cycling lives easier, including buying a new mount for my bike for the Hammerhead Karoo.
Oh yeah, have you ordered it?
No, I've not ordered it yet.
No. Well, that's your overwhelm coming in.
I know, because it's like, well, but I'll have to see to that. Because when we had it in Portugal, we were just rattling about all over the place, and no matter how many times I tried to fasten it down, it just wouldn't want to sit still. So I've given up on that, unfortunately. And trying to read it at a 45-degree angle is also really difficult, especially when you're on the wrong side of the road and you don't really know where you're going. So less than ideal. There was somebody there who could fix that for us. As I said, there was the people from Stoke who could do
vinyl wrapping
and what have you. But what attracted my eye more than anything else was the Zwift stand. So Zwift are a controversial in some sense as a company.
They are at the
moment, yeah, because they've put the price of the training up a month now, so it's like $17.99 instead of being $12.99. Would it used to be like £8?
I'm going to say £5 or £6.
Yeah, it's gone up over the years. It's gone up. Well, then they're spending a lot of money on development and stuff, and people are falling out of the market. I understand it. It's a business. They've got to make money, and they've got shareholders that all demand a return. But even at $17.99, if you use it 3-4 times a week, it's worth it. I mean, work that out. So 3 times a week, times 12 sessions, so it's costing you like £1.50 every time you go on it.
And you're not getting killed.
No, you're not, and it's providing, because nobody on Zwift is trying to mow you down in a tractor or a van or something like that. And
don't be thinking about van drivers.
Well, I don't know, I'm about to have a drive home in a van driver, so I best be quiet.
I wouldn't be worried, but if you start dissing them, you'll be walking.
Yeah. Nobody's trying to run you off road, and Zwift is really good for
training, because
you're distracting yourself, or you can train to certain intervals, and it puts it in front of you so you can't forget. You haven't got to just keep watching your phone and get distracted by your phone. Because I read some really good research I saw on Steve Magnus's Twitter. I'm not going to call it X, it's still Twitter to me. Where he was saying that if athletes looked at their mobile phones before competition, it reduced their performance. So trying to get away from having my phone there, what my training session is, program it into Zwift, off you go. Easy. And then it just comes up with prompts on the screen for you, and you just have to concentrate on.
Well, when you set it on thingy, Oliver, when you set your if you do your program on profile thing, on training, you don't even have to think about it, because it changes. If you've got a smart trainer, it makes it hard. If you've got to be supposed to be going hard, you are going hard.
Yeah.
You can't not go hard.
Yeah. So there is that element to it, and we have been beta testers for Zwift. That's how OG we are for Zwift. Yeah. We were beta testers when we saw them at the Triathlon show.
Sure.
2013-14? Must be. Because I had to buy a MacBook to make it work. Because it weren't good enough. It wouldn't work on a normal laptop, would it? It would only, at that point, it would only work on an iOS device.
Yeah, but you'd already got a MacBook. We both had.
I think we had to upgrade it because it weren't good enough. It would only work on an iOS device. It wouldn't work on anything Android-y.
Yeah, but I mean, you could only... Well, we'd not got MacBooks, so it didn't matter to us, because we'd only got them. But you could only actually use it on an iOS.
Yeah.
So, unless we got MacBooks, it worked for us.
Yeah, so we were on Zwift from 2013-14 when they were starting to come out.
What's his name? Eric
Min.
Eric Min used to give me ride-ons when I was training, doing my trails, not really training, when I'd done my ACL and I weren't supposed to be racing, weren't supposed to be doing anything before I'd even had my operation, and I thought, I'm going for Queen at Winkin sprints here, and I got it, and he did me a ride on and said, well done, and I thought, that's good. So
which is that how small the community was at the time. Like, it was like Eric, just hardcore, because they didn't release it to everybody because it weren't always available. But we are long-time Zwift users. When they released it to running, we use it on the treadmill because this treadmill can connect to Zwift, and albeit you don't have to necessarily change. I've never used Zwift's inbuilt gradient trainer sensor
No.
for either treadmill or for cycling, because I've always just done my own thing. But I kind of wonder around whether that, because does that really make a difference? If I went out riding my bike and I was doing an easy ride and I was riding up an hill, well, I'd just have to ride easy up the hill, wouldn't I?
Yeah, but I want to say though, that when I learnt how, because I had more time on my hands and thinking, I learnt how to put my sessions into Zwift, and I find it a lot easier if you just click on that session, because then it takes all guesswork out of what you're supposed to be working at.
If you're not having to try and, because if you suddenly hit an hill in Zwift and you're going easy and it's like a 7% hill,
yeah,
but you have to adjust yourself manually like you would do in real life to turn your gears down to make it easy while you're going up.
Yeah.
But I've never had that before because I've always turned the controllable trainer off. Anyway, while we were at Zwift, they had a bike that is entirely connected to Zwift and is called a Zwift bike, with all the functional buttons. Because I've never been having my phone near me or not been able to reach it. I could never use the power ups or anything like that. I couldn't switch steering to be able to turn onto a different course if I'd got bored doing the same loop. And it just looked ideal, particularly because my wife Jess wants to start doing some cycling indoors a little bit, and she won't get on my bike because it's too big, and she can't put her electric bike on the turbo, so she's like, I'm just not going to bother. So the Zwift bike is like a big, well, it's like a fancy watt bike, but fastened to a Wahoo core. You have an Allen key, and you can easily adjust it with 3 points on the turning of an Allen key and moving it up and down by A to Z, depending on your height or what your marker is. We played about with it yesterday when we built it in the garage, and Jess says it needs to have it a bit lower than what it suggests ideally, and mine, I've put it on the ideal, what it suggested for my height, but I've not worked out what it is for my bike yet until I get my actual saddle put on it. But unsurprisingly, we've called it Taylor Zwift in our house, because all bikes need a name, so that's Taylor Zwift in there now. And
very original.
Once we get our Apple TV fixed, because I discovered yesterday, this is how long I've not been in my garage for doing any kind of training on my bike. Apple TV Wi-Fi's gone off, and I don't have a remote control, so I can't get it back on using the remote control. I have to use my phone, but my phone won't connect to the Apple TV. We are also been on Wi-Fi, all of them both been on the same Wi-Fi, so it's a bit of a death spiral, and I've left it to Jess tonight to figure it out by looking at Reddit and stuff, how to get it all to work. And if she can't, I'm just going to have to go to Apple shop and say, fix this, because I need to get Taylor Zwift working. Which is downside, right? Because if you can't connect to Zwift, you pedals, but you can't get a proper, you can't get the session in that you want to get in, because you're just basically stuck in one gear.
I just have a bike.
But I mean, when I fastened my trek bike up to it, because it's a through axle onto me direct drive, it were an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
Every time I wanted to go out on my bike, getting it off the turbo, putting the wheel on, putting the through axle in, it'd take me 20-25 minutes to get that done.
Then you're fed up then.
And then I'd have to when I finished my ride, put it back on the turbo, and all the time you're thinking, well, I'm actually using the chain more on the turbo than I am using it on the wheel, which is meaning it's going to be like skipping all the time. And I just got to a point where I wanted something that I could just leave in the garage, and I didn't have to like pull it apart and take it to bits every time I wanted to use it for something other than like riding outside. And so I'd got myself a bike I bought off Facebook, but then I hadn't been able to go on it because I've been really busy and overwhelmed and what have you. And then saw Taylor Zwift at Birmingham, at cycling show, and just thought, this is my answer. Because not only is it looks like a spin bike from a Jess point of view, where she doesn't necessarily know what riding it, but it's not intimidating for her to ride bike. So, but it's also mega adjustable, so that if Jess wants to go on it, it'll take her 5 minutes to change it into her settings and get on and start riding. And then the same with me, I can just take 5 minutes to put my settings back on, and away we go, and I can explore more of Watopia or whatever island I'm on, because I can actually steer, and I can now use my power-ups and all my other boosts that you can get from it. So I will...
You never know, we might get a winking Animis TT series going.
Well, maybe, yes. We have talked about it often enough, but it necessitates me setting it up, which has been an issue thus far. But let's see, maybe for next year we might be able to get something together when things are a bit less dramatic. But,
We might have a winter one.
Well, we could have a winter one, yeah. So for now, Taylor Swift is all set up. I just can't get Apple TV to work. So next episode, hopefully I've got an update for you about Taylor Swift and Apple TV.
Yeah, and hopefully things might have calmed down a bit for us.
I might have done a regular week's worth of training.
Yeah, so that's really...
Rather than just do something on a Tuesday and wait until Sunday when I could go out on my bike again.
Yeah. I've been quite as bad as Oliver, but it's just... for me, it's swimming. If I can't I need to be able to swim in the morning. I can't do it. Because where I go swimming, it's only lane swimming in the morning. So if you don't get to the pool before 7:30... You're not. And well, for me, because I'm in the events industry, a lot of my event I have to get stuff ready and be delivered first thing. So
and it's seasonal as well.
It's seasonal,
so
yeah.
So now you're busy doing proms and in winter it's Christmas do's and stuff, isn't it? So
yeah. Whereas hopefully next week or so, then that's calmed down a bit and I could get back into a normal routine. So, because we've even got wetsuits.
None of us have tried them.
They're still in the cardboard box from.
They were only like a tenner from Wiggle.
Yeah, when they were going out of business.
Because we just knew we wouldn't get in his old wetsuits in time to do London Triathlon.
No.
In end of July. So we just bought ourselves a cheap one that we would get into. Is it sleeveless?
Mine's sleeveless. I don't think yours is.
Mine's going to be sleeveless when I cut shop them off.
Yeah.
Because I don't necessarily want a sleeved wetsuit, but we'll see. Not for a tenner, I might as well do it. And for 750 metres, I might as well have an experiment with it. Because in my head, I'm just going for a nice little ride out around London. Well, around blinking
Docks.
Isle of Dogs and Call the Midwife territory.
Oh yeah, but
If anybody doesn't know what Call the Midwife is,
watch it
on
iPlayer.
Listeners from abroad.
Or YouTube or whatever.
Yeah, Call the Midwife is a
quintessential.
It's a BBC Sunday evening drama series that started off set in late 1940s when the NHS was invented. And
just before NHS was invented, so it probably just after the war. So don't talk about the war, but 1945-ish.
And it's now up to 1970s.
Yeah.
So that's how long it's been on for. But it's about these group of nuns who had to provide healthcare to people because people couldn't afford doctors.
And when you watch it, this is how it should still be. But anyway, that's another topic.
Yes, but where they are is in Limehouse and Poplar and all the places around where Isle of Dogs and Canary Wharf is now, which every time we go, for whatever reason,
we think,
what would these nuns have think about this now? Because it's so... I mean, you can see bits where you think that were probably built while nuns were here.
Yeah, what would Sister Monica Joe think?
Restaurant is just... What would they think about going on DLR?
Yeah, exactly.
For nothing else, they mind looking at like that cable car at Millennium Dome and all that stuff. Yeah. So, yes, I'm going for a nice ride around, swim in that dock that I'm just going to take easy. If it takes me as long as it takes me. Then I'm going for a nice ride around Call the Midwife territory, and then I'm just going to have a jog round for 5k and done, because that'll be the first triathlon I will have completed since 2019.
Both of us.
And it's not really going to be a benchmark because I know I'm nowhere near fit, but actually I just enjoy doing triathlon for what it is, and that is the thing that I enjoy doing more than anything else, other than watching Sheffield Wednesday.
Which is very exciting at the moment. Well, it will be.
Yes. As I had a conversation with somebody at Sheffield Wednesday today and said, only Sheffield Wednesday makes my heart beat faster. I'm not really bothered about England, and we both laughed.
But then again, watching England last night, we both said we both support Sheffield Wednesday. We watched Sheffield Wednesday win 5-1. So you never give up.
Well, no, but we were rubbish.
We were crap.
But I'm going to enjoy doing that because it's what I enjoyed doing. When I first got into it, I didn't have a clue about performance or anything. I just enjoyed it because it was fun. So I'm just going to enjoy this because it's fun. And hopefully it don't rain.
Yeah, well, even if it does, we'll just get wet.
Well, yeah.
We'll all be wet from getting out of drinking water.
Right. So I wonder where my ex-bionic jacket's gone.
I don't know where mine is. Since
There's a
I moved,
sort
I don't know where
Well,
my
no,
stuff
same.
is. I've got to go up in loft and find out
Same, I
where
don't
my
know where it
tri-suit is.
I might have to go and have a look for that, because when my dad was showing me them pictures of us doing Sundowner, I had my X-Bionic jacket on. I don't know where that's gone.
They don't go to shows anymore, do they, X-Bionic?
Well, why would you?
Well, we used to buy all sorts from them. So they're really good kit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, if you're feeling overwhelmed, don't worry. It's fine to be overwhelmed.
Well, it's not fine.
Well, it's not fine, but you don't have to worry about your training, because your training will be there. You'll come back. You have to deal with what your problems that you've got as you've got them. But if you want some strategies or solutions, get in touch and we'll help. And hopefully next week when we record a podcast, you'll find out about Taylor Swift and Apple TV, and also whether Sheffield Wednesday have been any better or not in the last week.
Yeah, because it's exciting being a Wednesday fan. It's never dull.
No, and this is particularly more exciting because things are happening for a change, rather than happening like a day before we kick off season. So
like.
And we'll have been to Alfreton again.
Yeah.
If you don't know where Alfreton is,
look it up on map. It's not.
But it's an old-fashioned non-league ground, and we love it.
We do, because it's proper football.
Yeah, and you get close to players. Anyway.
Yeah.
So we'll do it until next week. We'll see thee.
Thank you for joining us today.
See you next time.
See you then. Or as we say in Yorkshire, see thee.